Hello again, this is my second episode of film books. I'm going to do 3 now. I did 6 last time, I think it was too much. I felt like I really went too far with that one, so I'm just doing 3 at a time, because I think it's easier to watch. So I think it's a much simpler process. It keeps the videos shorter than they really need to, so they're not dragging on. Okay, the first book I'm going to talk about is Robert Bresson's Notes on a Cinematographer. This is I think it's written in the 50s, and it's not a normal book. It's just little writings about cinema and what he thinks of actors and how he sees cinema itself. And basically, here's one: image and sound must not support each other, but must work each in turn through a sort of relay. It's things like that are model preserved from any obligation towards the art of drama. So it's talking about what he views as cinema and why he's doing it. So I've had this book for a long time. It's great because it's just just like this film, it's a good refresher against a lot of the melodrama you see in films that you think, well, why did that happen? Oh yeah, there was no real reason for it to happen, it was just there. This is about a guy who strips everything down, strips it down to the essence, so that when you're watching a film, everything's a point. Even if you don't get the point straight away, there's a point to everything and he's doing, and the mystery becomes about the human face and the human reactions and why people are doing it and what each action means, and how cinema can deliver something that's like it's not even religious, it's just a meaning of life and a meaning of how people go through life, how people struggle, how fate throws things at them and how they survive it or don't survive it, and what the reasons for their actions, without throwing lots of teary-eyed stuff, lots of acting, because Bresson feels that actors are false, that they're liars basically. Basically, whatever they do, it's always a lie, there's always something there that's not quite right. So he strips all that away and works on the actors to make them get rid of everything. I mean, that would not be good for every director, but for someone like Bresson, he knows what he's doing, it has a reason. So, as a viewer, I can watch Bresson, I can watch Buñuel, I can watch all these different filmmakers, or even Howard Hawks is a completely different, he's all about personality. And he's like 180 degrees different from this. But even he's got a spareness to him to get to point to point to point. But this is the one point of view of cinema that is really interesting to read up on and to try and investigate. I think Bresson is one of those directors who everyone knows everyone who's serious about film knows he's a great director, but he's hard to write on. He's not like Hitchcock, where anybody can have an idiotic sound article about Hitchcock and it's always the same bloody article. And it's been on for 30 years and it's boring as hell. You know, because it's the same stuff again and again. Bresson's hard to write about. Bresson's really hard because he's got a variation of subject matter, and you need to really pay attention to him to actually write good stuff about him. You need to have read books, you need to have, it's not just pure cinema, he's influenced by books, he's influenced by life. He's not making things that are, you know, just simply by what you see on the screen, that's it, that's all it is. It's not like this a dream landscape where everything's there. His stuff's harder. Some ways I always find he's like Orson Welles. Orson Welles is the egotistical version of Bresson. Orson Welles is a show-off. But one thing I like about Orson Welles and like about Bresson is there seems to be this insistence in the films, even in Orson Welles' worse, more self-indulgent stuff, that life's hard, interpretation of life's hard. Not everything makes sense, even though we think it does, even when we try and post stuff that makes sense. There's still things that are just off. I mean, Orson Welles tries to impose order in the films. I'm never quite sure he believes it. I always think it's there but it's not there. Like, script-wise he's doing that, but visually he's doing other stuff that goes against that, and he's all about theatricality and the false theatricality and how he's lying to you and how like what you're saying to the audience, what the film's about, might not be true of what the film's about. And Bresson's is like cut down so that it's what it's about is a mystery of what it's about, of what's going on when you're watching it, and you have to try and interpret it. They're like two sides of the same coin for me in some ways. Even though I'm not sure that makes entire sense by the way I'm explaining it, but I know what I mean when I explain it. They both just have this weird respect for, like, not everything's what it seems. Everything's difficult, and they both had difficult careers. And they've both been revered as great. I mean, they've also both had films that have been destroyed. I mean, Bresson had this in the 70s, made amazing films like, you know, Four Nights of a Dreamer and Femme Douche. I'm not sure that's the 60s or 70s, but he had a period where everyone just thought he'd lost it, and he made, for me, some of his best films. And Wells had a period where, like, years where people thought he completely lost it and was making great stuff. So they both had difficult times, and they're both great. But this is a Bresson though. Read this book. This is amazing. If you're serious about film, you have to own this. It's that simple. You have to own it. I mean, along with, there's a book by Alexander McKendrick he's talking about the practical side of filmmaking, which I'll get to at some point, that book. This is the one of the two, like, books I would say you have to own if you want to study film. Or if you want to see what the director thinks of film. Okay, next is Kubrick. You might have noticed now with these videos I'm a Kubrick fan. Shocker. But this is Michael Herr's view on Kubrick. Michael Herr was a friend of Kubrick. They're both now dead. He wrote Full Metal Jacket. He also wrote an amazing book called Dispatches, set in Vietnam when he was a correspondent. It's like the great book of Vietnam. You should never make a film out of it because it's all about the tea inside your head. It's like one of those books that's purely a book. He also did the narration for Apocalypse Now, did all the Martin Sheen stuff. And he's helped Coppola a few times out. He's one of those careers that have been great in spots, but he never did much. But whenever he did something, it was always terrific. And so this was him writing about Kubrick, because he was a friend. And this was a lead up, because he was writing, the first one was an article he was writing for Vanity Fair about Kubrick in the build up to Eyes Wide Shut be released. And then Kubrick died. So he still put the article out, but now with the thing about he's dead. So it became a much deeper article about who Kubrick was, the good side and the bad side of what he thought and what he spoke to people about, the films and how the films affected Herr. So it's part about Kubrick, it's part about the friendship between Herr and Kubrick, and how they frustrated each other sometimes, how they got on. The funny side of Kubrick you never saw, the family side. So that was terrific. Then there's also a postscript section, which is talking about Eyes Wide Shut and how they reacted to it, because it was not well received when it was released. They seemed to hate on it like it was a sport. They hated that film in a way that was just odd. And Kubrick just died, so his family was watching, the critics just despise him when he just died. It was a really creepy situation. I mean, it's something the critics of the late 90s should be ashamed of, anyone who piled on like that. So, but this was Herr talking about it, and how he's talking about artists and how certain directors evolve and the expectation of the film, how the film came across, and how the film, even though it was finished by Kubrick, apparently it probably would have been finessed a bit more, because Kubrick was always going to finesse stuff. He couldn't stop himself from doing that. So it's a beautiful book. Really, I love that Kubrick while being critical. And it's probably the most honest book about Kubrick. I mean, it's the shortest one, but you get the essence. It's that thing where everything's been tightened down to their essence. I mean, other books might be massive. This is like very thin, but it's also about who he actually was, what he was about, and why he was important. And this is like the essential Kubrick book. Along the one I did last time, which was about the outside, on the process of each film. This is the opposite one. This is the one that you need to read, the personal view of Kubrick. So again, it's a must read. Buy it. Finally, we have Cronenberg. Basic interviews with Serge Grunberg. There's a Cronenberg and Cronenberg book out, which is terrific. But this is what takes over the films a bit more later. So you get things like Butterfly, Naked Lunch, Crash, Existence, things like that. and so you get a different sense of the films. I mean, the Cronenberg book was more detailed about certain films, but this one is a more general conversation with a critic talking about the films and his process and what he likes, what he doesn't like. Like he talks about he doesn't like The Matrix, he talks about certain things that influence, certain things that put him off. And it's a more honest conversation. I think the favourite book, Cronenberg, which I'll probably end up covering as well, was a more polite book done in the 80s when there was a push to take film seriously. Faber are very good film books, but they're very serious. This one's more relaxed, this one's more... They're talking seriously, but they have fun with it at the same time. It just feels like it's a more relaxed conversation. And it's more indiscreet, but you get a sense of how Cronenberg sees filmmaking rather than... I think Faber's more of the theoretical side of filmmaking, like what it meant to him, and this one feels a bit more like the day-to-day process of the day-to-day life of being a filmmaker. And you're going to like stuff, you're going to dislike stuff, things happen, things go well, things don't go well. It just feels very different, but Cronenberg's one of the best filmmaker talkers. He's one of the guys who can talk a lot. You can get him and Schrader's another one who they can talk forever and offer theories about their own work and can analyse it without any difficulty. Even though there's always a thing of it's still their interpretation, they're on the inside, not on the outside, but they can talk more articulately about that was a bad one, wasn't it? They can be articulate about the filmmaking choices they've made. So this one's a must own, this is another must own one. I don't want to go into that much detail about it, it just gives you, there's lots of pictures, there's I got it second hand, there's the production drawings, and it's full of details about films that I love. I mean, Cronenberg's such a massive group even after this. I think it ends in, I'm not sure if it's covers Spider or not, but Spider almost the 2000s, Cronenberg did Spider, History of Violence, a lot of Viggo Mortensen stuff, and Cosmopolis. There's lots of films he's made that are really interesting, so we really need another book like this to cover the later period, because there's a lot of great stuff. Because Cronenberg has an odd like with Madame Butterfly or something, which I still like. But he doesn't have that many dips. He's not like some directors who have massive highs and go round up down. Or yeah, Bergman is like, or Scorsese, who had a great peak, then he seems to have been down in a kind of crest where it's okay, but it's nothing great. Cronenberg's been consistently interesting. But you need another book like this to cover the later period, because there's a lot of stuff that's not covered. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back soon with some other stuff. Okay, bye.